Little chirp chirp. Little garble
Are we
garble.
live?
Oh
Are we
yeah,
live?
we were live as soon as you started it, and I'm like, I'm not stopping him.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
hi.
stop him.
I'm not paying attention to what's going on. Good evening. Welcome back to, what are we on? 82?
82.
Ramblestream number 82. Broadcasting here from the 23rd largest contributor as a city to the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. Goshen, Indiana, the booming metropolis.
Woo! Also, not Goshen, but Freeman, adjacent to Goshen.
Oh, yeah.
Home of the Corn Dog Festival. Just a little known fact.
There you go, folks.
Welcome to the Ramblestream.
Welcome to the Ramblestream. Good to have y'all.
Chilling.
What are we talking about tonight?
Oh, you tell me, Richard. This is your baby.
We're talking about DGR, which
yes,
I also manage here at Janus Motorcycles, but we're also talking about choppers.
Finally.
I did not. I was gonna like go all like chopper it out, but I forgot.
We should have at least wore bandanas. I didn't think about it until I
sleeveless
got here.
shirts.
Yeah.
Or
Or
like
just
yell at each other.
assless chaps.
Okay. I mean, do chopper people wear chaps?
I don't know. I just am
They
taking
wear just like jeans.
every single stereotype I know and just putting it all into one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, I should have got a handlebar mustache. Dang, missed opportunity. But we're glad you're here. For those of you who have been in the Ramble stream before, you know the deal. Go ahead and put in the chat what you're sipping on, what you're rambling on. If you have a Janus, tell us what bike number it is. We want to know all the deets. I saw Gary already copy-pasted his wonderful, wonderful comment here. I'm going to read it. I'm just going to read it for fun.
Oh, yeah.
Hi from East Lansing, Michigan. Halcyon 50 number 11, Halcyon 250 number 79, Halcyon 450 number 3, Phoenix 250 number 79, Griffin 250 number 163, a 1972 Triumph Triton, 1980 Honda CM200, 1990 Harley Davidson 883 Sportster, a 2017 year-old Gear Up, sip it on a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Good to see you, Gary.
Gary, glad you're here. I asked how many technical difficulties that everyone thinks that we'll have.
Oh yeah, what's the vote?
Well,
just one, says Chris.
I'm going for 0.
Is that like a goal or is that a bet?
I'm scared to bet. To be honest with you, company doesn't have any faith.
I'm gonna go with like 1.
1?
Yeah, we have a 57 minutes left.
That's a long.
That's a long time not to have a technical difficulty here at Janus Motorcycles,
especially with our track record as of late. Benjamin Garvey, good evening from the Northern Illinois area. I don't yet own a Janus, but I'm planning on making it my first bike.
That's a good comment right there. Like,
what an honor.
Thank you. Give us a call, an email. Rambling at Janus Motorcycles is an easy way to get a hold of me, and I can put you in touch with all the right answers, all of your questions. So,
well, Kelly's getting a little excited. What's up? Halcyon 450 number 236, named Coyote, a 2013 Harley Davidson Ultra, named Black Pearl, a 2006 Harley Davidson Heritage. I can never say this one. What is it?
Elvira,
out of Winchester. Hey, right, sitting been on some Orange Crush like normal. Did the DGR yesterday.
Wonderful. What ride did you go in, Kelly?
There's 140 riders, and they raised over $35,000.
I don't know. I think our percentage per rider was higher.
Yeah,
we're gonna.
We have to compare
strut a little bit.
We have to compare.
No, that's awesome. I take it. Where was your ride? 100. How many riders?
140 plus
140
riders.
plus. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Got Dave Bowen here. Got Russell Peters here. We've got Foxy here. Hey. Steve. I'm just going through.
All of them. Okay. I'll go ahead and get started while Jansen's scrolling manically. My name is Richard Worsham. I am co-founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. This audio is
well, you got to get up on it here. Let me. Okay, try now.
My name is Richard Worsham.
Now, hold on. Does that count as a technical difficulty? No, it's unfair. He set me up. It was a setup this whole time.
No, let's not count that as a tip. That's just me being picky. Where was I? Oh, I am broadcasting. We are broadcasting from Goshen, Indiana, the paint booth / office in the PT fabrication shop. I ride a 2009 Kawasaki KLR and a 2018 Halcyon 250. And I also have another 250 on order.
Do you really?
Yeah. I haven't said anything about it. I just thought I'd say it.
What color?
I don't know yet. I haven't picked it yet.
What are you leaning toward? If you say
Cream.
Okay.
No, I'm not leaning to cream. I don't know yet. I don't know. But it's going to be built later in the year.
Nice. That's super exciting. My name is Jansen, also live out of TT. Sorry. Yeah. I got excited.
I'm sipping on Woodford Reserve and Cheers Ramblers.
Which is bourbon. My name is Jansen. I'm streaming also live out of TT in the spaceship / paint booth. Glad to be here. Ramble in a Tesla. Richard can't tell me that I don't. And
you have new news to share with us, right?
So it's not. I'm scared to say it because that means I have to do it because I haven't seen it yet.
You told me like it was going to happen.
Right. I'm really excited.
You can't even share that news.
I'm trying to not. Okay. I feel like we have to say it's not crazy. It's not crazy. But it is exciting.
You might not be able to actually share that news yet.
Right. Hey, I might have a new Ramble mobile here in a couple days.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll let you guess. It is a 4-wheeled vehicle.
So you don't have the title yet.
I don't have the title yet. So
I'm excited for you because I think that it's going to be a big step up from the Tesla.
According to
it won't accelerate as fast.
No, not nearly as fast. But it's really cool. And I'll give you a hint. To give you an era, it's got pop-up, up and down headlights.
But see, the problem is if you give him the ultimate hint, which would be...
No, you can't say that. You can't say that.
But it would be wrong.
It would be wrong.
Yeah. It would not give you you say, it's got a front engine.
It does. It does.
Anyway, now we're just like analyzing. No. Are you going to know next week? We can announce it?
I will know next week. We can announce it next week.
There we go.
Stay tuned. Very exciting. Very exciting. All right. I think it's time to move into some builds of the week brought to you by your boy.
Hold on. We need to do the poem first.
Oh, crap. Why do I always skip over the poem?
You're skipping my poetry.
Sorry. All
right. We're going to go back to Wendell Berry, the Mad Farmer poems. Some of my personal favorites. This is a autographed copy by the poet.
Wow.
And if I can find the one I'm going to read, the short one.
Kelly says he was the only Janus.
Only Janus.
In Leesburg.
Leesburg had 140 riders.
That's wild.
Dang. Congratulations. That's great. Okay. Wendell Berry, the man born to farming. The grower of trees, the gardener, the man born to farming, whose hands reach into the ground and sprout. To him, the soil is a divine drug. He enters into death yearly and comes back rejoicing. He has seen the light lie down in the dung heap and rise again in the corn. His thought passes along the row ends like a mole. What miraculous seed has he swallowed that the unending sentence of his love flows out of his mouth like a vine clinging in the sunlight and like water descending into the dark? Boom.
Boom.
All right, there we go. Now we can talk about builds of the week.
Now I feel like we just gloss past the poem every time. It's sad. We don't.
You want to have a discussion?
I don't know. I don't know enough about poetry.
Open it up.
How does it make you feel? I don't know.
we could do that, but I think it's better to just read it and listen.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. Now on to builds of the week, brought to you by our favorite Janus motorcycle salesman,
Mitch McLean.
Let's hop in here. Here we go. All right. So we've got, first up, we've got Joseph with a Halcyon 450. It's number 377, going to Wisconsin. Now I need to
I
see.
did like a momentary, like, what does WI stand for?
I kid you not. Every time I see a 2-letter state abbreviation, I forget my name.
Normally I know what they are, but Wisconsin threw me off there for a second.
I
Okay.
I didn't memorize mine. Oh,
We go over the VIN number. This is a 450, as you can tell, Halcyon,
because of the way it is.
because of the way it is. Yep.
Now, for those of you who were with us last week, you'll know exactly what that is right there. That is your front horizontal.
Right. There's the leading link front suspension. Just perfectly displayed. There's your 450 SWM, XR400 design. And there's your rear transom.
I cheated and I looked at these first two, but not the last two.
Saddle brown Sergeant seat.
And that makes me feel.
Are we looking at cream here? Is this going to be a cream bike?
It looks so. It's either cream or
Green?
American blue on that other.
Can't tell. We're looking at tomato red. There it is.
Hey!
I think this is actually called Cardinal Red.
Cardinal
Official.
Red. You know, mine's kind of doing that weird thing too. My microphone. Ooh, with the white pinstripe.
White and silver, or white and white?
It looks like maybe silver.
Handlebars, exhaust, headlight visor.
That's a cool picture.
The light this day, this picture's been, one of the pictures has been up, and the colors just look really good. All of them, yeah.
Very vibrant. Yeah, that's silver.
Silver and white. Never seen it before.
It's like a fire truck.
Yep, never seen it. Look at that.
That's sharp.
Fishtail, or not fishtail, ducktail exhaust.
What's up with all the tails?
Tails.
Fishtail, ducktail.
Silver feather logo to go with that silver pinstripe.
Wow.
Look at that machine cap.
That's the last one.
All right, let's go.
That's a great looking Halcyon. Congratulations,
Well done, Joseph.
Up next, we've got.
These are all 450s.
These are all 450s. Up next, we've got James with the Halcyon 450 number 379 going to Pennsylvania. Out east.
I'm gonna guess it's cream.
Like I said, I've already looked at these and I know what it is, and it is not cream. Some tie downs up front there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Hey.
Vintage red.
Vintage red.
Copper and white, looks to me like, with red wheel pinstripe.
We've got another skirted fender. Good grief.
Go back to that last one. Just the way it swoops around the chain guard. So there's a cutout over there on the side.
Gosh,
and if you see it from the front, it actually like cuts around the tire a little bit.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
It's really
here.
cool. Yeah, right there. That's
right
it.
There. Looks like he's got a wheel pinstripe too.
Mm-hmm.
Red. Nice.
And then on the other side, the fender comes all the way down. It doesn't have that cutout for the chain. Fingers on the other side. Beautiful.
Gosh, that's a good looking motorcycle. I love how the pinstripe too kind of like tapers off.
Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way around and disappears a little bit. Now, Richard, I'm going to ask you a question, and I might be putting you on the spot here. Yeah. But the last I remembered, we only had one area where the fender support bolted on to the fender. Is this different?
It is, yeah. We updated this in the fall.
In the fall, okay.
Well, yeah, we made a bunch of aluminum fenders. We tried to produce aluminum fenders. We actually gave some to customers, but they over time because the fender is attached to that swing arm, and that swing arm is, every time it hits a bump, moves, and so that whole fender was only being held on by 2 bolts at the back, 2 like this at the front, and so it was actually like cracking the aluminum.
Oh, geez.
So then we thought, well, because these skirted fenders are so much heavier, they're going to have even more load.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we added 2 tabs at the front. So we doubled the amount of hardware at the front. And then we also, at the bottom, you remember, it used to be a single bolt to the swing arm. It's now 2. So it's a pinned, or not pinned, it's
just a lot beefier.
It's a lot beefier, and it doesn't allow the fender to move as much.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That makes sense. I noticed it the other day, and I hadn't noticed it before. I didn't know how new it was. But
it was like, I think it's sometime last fall.
Not very new. Oh, flying through here. Book rack.
Fuel bottle mount.
Little airbox action. That's that.
Mitch really
one.
likes to show the inside of the airbox.
Well, in Mitch's defense, he just sends me the bike numbers, and then I just pull up the whole album, and I don't go through it at all. I just say, this is the whole thing, the whole build.
For you.
Another 450 here. This is Alvis. Yes.
Junior.
Yes. Halcyon 450 number 381.
This one's headed your way, Confed Yank. This is going to North Carolina.
You might as well just hop on, Mr. I don't have a Janus yet. Whoa.
Oh, here we go.
There's a seafoam green again.
Green and red on seafoam? Is that what I'm looking at?
I think so.
Is that green or blue? Or black?
Like maybe that's black.
If that was green, that would be... it looks like green. That's cool.
We
Reminds me
gotta
of
get
like
our-
the 60s.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Is that
Vintage
red
not
on-
vintage, sorry, oxblood would be the actual. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
vintage
oxblood.
red's the color. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
awesome.
cow. So,
Whoa.
okay, hold on.
Wow. Holy.
What color is that? Is that green
I think
or
it's
red?
green because
Or
you can see
green
there's
or-
black as the feather going across it, and it's not the
Okay.
same color. We're looking at a monitor, so it's hard to tell the color.
Dean Wyatt says, I like the seafoam green.
I'm with you, Dean.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that. With red.
With a red
that
pin.
bike is decked out.
It's got everything you could ever imagine.
I bet it's gonna have saddlebags and everything else to go with that too.
Gosh, that's a good looking motorcycle.
Well done,
Well, thank you, Mitch.
Alvis.
Everyone give it up for Mitch, providing those motorcycles for us. Love that guy. And he loves you. If you have any questions, you can give him a call. He'll hook you up. This stream has been brought to you by Janus Motorcycles.
By Jansen. And you haven't even had an energy drink.
No, dude, I'm feeling very energetic today. I had a very productive day, which you would think would make you
No, I know what
less
you mean.
energetic, but
you're really feeling it, and you're just ready
Yeah.
to keep on going. Yeah.
I'm getting things done today, y'all.
I woke up going a little bit slow. I mean, I was DGR, and then I previewed the DGR route the day before,
Uh-huh.
and so I did get plenty of sleep, but
Lots of
I've been
riding.
kind of dragging a little bit today.
Just some saddle time. Chris says 381, only 31 more until I get mine. Nice. Do you want to go over a recap, a little DGR recap?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that while we're in this.
I mean,
this mode
since
here.
you like to skip things on the
Well, I'm just
agenda.
trying to keep things flowing.
Okay, great.
While we're in this scene,
Yeah. All right, we had DGR this weekend, and this is the first year that we did a Goshen, Indiana ride. We've usually joined other rides, like I've said on previous Ramble streams, Chicago, Indy, South Bend several times. But this year we decided we wanted to do our own, and so we set a route with the help of Ray Lazat, who's a 450 customer, lives up in southern Michigan. We went up to the Langley Covered Bridge, and just about 2 miles south of that bridge, there is Centerville, Michigan. Centraville.
Come on, Richard. Centraville. Seriously?
Yeah, it is. And there's a fairground there, and they had the AMCA Wolverine chapter of the AMCA, which is like an old school, I want to say 50s motorcycle club.
Wow.
Was putting on a vintage motorcycle show and swap meet featuring British motorcycles.
Wow.
And the flyer that he sent me was he's logos like Vincent, BSA, Belisat. And I'm like, how many Vincents are going to be in Centerville, Michigan?
Were there a lot?
Well, there were several.
They probably flocked from all over the
I'm
United
sure they
States.
did, but it was an incredible event. So anyway, we did some photos in front of that's Ray. Ray's from Southern Michigan, and helped set up the whole thing. And we got there's Pete Marino. That's me.
There he is.
And David Cheng from Cafe Races of Instagram.
Sure.
Fender Bender Brent.
Bender.
Jonah, our assembly hand.
Speaking of, I don't know if he wants me to say anything.
Oh, yeah, we could talk a little bit about it. We'll just intro the fact that we'll be featuring it.
He's got a very cool motorcycle, a very cool custom Janus that they're working on right now.
Very cool.
It is insanely cool. We'll have to feature it on the Ramble stream
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
is
We will.
incredible.
This bike is if you know much about like racing motorcycle, this is a hill climb bike. And I don't know if many of you all know yet, but Tim is our new service guy, is our new mechanic. But Tim was just kind of casually like looking at this bike, and I was like, oh, you used to do some hill climbing, right, Tim? He goes, yeah, I built that bike.
I've talked to Tim a few times.
That guy is a wealth of knowledge.
Very matter of fact, and that seems like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I built
that one.
It's a national championship hill climber.
That's crazy.
He's got videos of him on YouTube.
Does he?
Hill climbing. Yeah. AJS.
Holy cow! Look at all those parts.
If you want some handlebars, there, seats, turn indicators, Veloset, one of several Velosets. Look at that thing.
That's sharp.
There was a bike. There was the same bike. Was it Quail? This this weekend, I guess, was Quail, and I saw. I mean, it's in really nice shape, but same bike.
Look at that exhaust. That's crazy.
Fishtail. There's your Vincent. Look at that thing with that big old speedometer on top.
That
was one of 3 Vincents, I think.
Ooh.
This is a Harley with a horizontal engine. So this goes back to the Armaki days. Yep, there were 2 of these there.
2?
So this is like, if I'm not mistaken, this is like Italian designs, like that they got.
I'm sure parts are just everywhere for this thing.
Yeah, super common. Yeah. Actually, the guy was selling a parts one for like $300.
Oh wow!
I was like, it'd just be cool for the wall.
Just to put it up somewhere.
Veloset, Royal Enfield. I thought that look at that. That's like a Halcyon. Look at that rear rack.
Yeah.
I think that's even a 2-stroke. That is a 2. Actually, that's one of our customers. Huh, I know that guy. That's where we based wheel pinstripe off that bike.
No way, seriously?
Yes. Yeah, he's from Michigan. No, I just realized that. I took a picture of it. I'm forgetting his name, but he got a green Halcyon 250 to match, and he wanted us to do gold wheel pinstripe to match his 39 225 2-stroke.
That's really cool.
Ducati, love those. What do they call those? Like the bean tanks?
I'm not sure. You're more of a wealth of knowledge there. I do
small
like
rare Ducati. Okay, and that was anyway. We had a wonderful time, hung out there, rode back. No one got hurt. Everyone had fun, and but no bikes bike down. No bikes broke down.
I had no idea what you were trying to say.
I'm going into a spoonerism attack. It was a great. And so the last thing I'll just say about the DGR was that we had 30 people, and I just wanted to thank all of you all who joined the Janus team. I know that a lot of people joined the Janus team that didn't ride in the Goshen ride. We raised like $10,425 as of this afternoon. I haven't checked recently.
Wow.
Which puts the Janus team globally. This is happening all over the world. They raised $7 million this year. The Janus Motorcycles team is 23rd in the world.
Wow.
Look it up. Look up the leaderboards. Makes me super proud, and I really want to thank everybody who rode with us or who contributed to the Janus Motorcycles team. We do this every year. We'll be back 2026. If you didn't get a chance to ride, it's a lot of fun. You get to dress up, look good, and it's just like a 30, 40-mile ride on a Sunday morning. It's a lot of fun, and you're doing it for a good cause. Yeah. So, yeah, the last thing I wanted to say on that is just thank you very much, everybody who contributed. You made it a smashing success and something that we're really proud of. So, much appreciated.
Yes, very cool. Now, Richard, you've got some items here on the desk.
We got some carburetors.
We were joking beforehand, and we're like, man, if we
were thinking ahead.
We're thinking ahead a little bit. We would have taken some of the carburetor bowls and just drank our bourbon out of them. It could have been a good bit.
Yeah, it could have been good. We didn't. So I'm just going to talk about a carburetor real quick. I'm not going to get into too much detail. We got plenty of stuff to talk about tonight, but carburetors are things, unlike fuel injectors. They're just so beautiful. I mean, these are not even the prettiest carbs out there. To me, a round slide carb. Well, this is a round slide.
Kelly said I thought they were paperweights.
Well, some of these mostly are. They sit on my desk. A round slide carburetor is probably my favorite, like an old Bing or a Amel or a Weber. Some of these really traditional carburetors, they really are beautiful. They get a little later. They're not quite as pretty. The CVK, but
Thing's pretty chunky.
The basic idea is this is the official EPA carb that we used to get through EPA. I take very good care of this one.
Yeah, that one's a prized possession.
But yeah, I mean, in some ways, it might be the last American motorcycle to get EPA and carb certification with a carburetor. I don't think there's anybody else going to do it.
You think it's just done?
I think it's probably done.
That's
KLR went away from it.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, there's maybe in some kind of special applications, but like for a production motorcycle, the 250 might be the last one.
Woohoo! well, maybe it's kind of sad. I don't know. It's cool
it's sad.
It's cool that Janus is.
It's very fitting,
right?
But I've talked a lot about carburetors and how much I love them, but they're mechanical devices and everything can be understood. You take that float bowl off, and it's all just pieces of machined metal, and pretty amazing that it allows your bike to run so well. Early carburetors really, to me, looked more like plumbing fixtures than they did anything else. They were really, really simple, like a bath drain or something. But the basic idea of a carburetor is that one end is attached to the intake manifold, and the other, whether it has a air filter or an air box or a velocity stack or nothing at all, it sucks in air. Air comes in here, fuel comes in here, and then it has a little float bowl at the bottom, and that float, there's a little, it's like like the back of a toilet. It just regulates the height to stay at a certain height.
It is a plumbing fixture, really.
It is
a carburetor.
It is, and then there's a little tube that goes up into the bottom of the called the venturi, the carburetor, the hole in the middle has a butterfly.
If you want to show this camera.
But anyway, when the engine's running, it creates a vacuum, and it sucks air through the carburetor, and that vacuum going through the venturi of the carburetor, which is the passage through it, will suck fuel up through the main jet and the atomizer into the venturi, and then it like little bits of gas get carried with the oxygen into the combustion.
What do they call that, Richard?
The atomizer?
Atomizer.
Got
it.
Or the emulsion tube.
Oh, that's cooler. I like that better. The emulsion tube.
There's more to a carburetor, but that really is the basics. The early ones were literally that simple. They only had like one jet, and they wouldn't run very well unless you were giving it gas. But modern carburetors have lots of little circuits and passages that bypass. So like at low RPM or like idle, it goes through this little passageway, and then it, off idle, then it'll shift over. And so you go through a series of different devices in the carburetor control the fuel air mixture at different positions of the throttle. So I've got a diagram up there, the jetting chart. It basically shows where your slide is having the most effect, or where the main jet or the pilot jet or the idle jet or the fuel air screw are having an effect. But really, the point of this little conversation is not to talk too much about how a carburetor works, but just to talk about carburetors as things. So this is a 30 millimeter, which is the diameter of the carburetor for the venturi. So this is what goes on a Halcyon 250. The 450, as you know, is fuel injected. So the beauty of fuel injection is that it does everything for you. And fuel injection, you'll always find on the exhaust, you'll find a little O2 sensor. And the O2 sensor, what that does is it's measuring how much oxygen is in the system, and how accurate the fuel air mixture is. When a carburetor mixes fuel and air, it's just measuring the volume of air that is going through the carb. It doesn't know if it's 5,000 feet or if it's sea level. It just says there's this much air going through, mass going through, and I'm going to put this much fuel into it. And you can change it very easily by changing out your jets. But if you get up to 10,000 feet and you're riding your carbureted bike, it thinks that there's more oxygen than there is, because it's been calibrated for sea level or wherever it was calibrated for. And so you're going to run really, really rich. It's going to bog down on you. And if you keep riding like that, you're going to foul a plug.
Wow.
Yeah. Fuel injection, on the other hand, actually measures the O2, and then it will regulate itself. It also knows that you're starting the bike up for the first time, so it can auto enrich. You don't have to use a manual choke like on a 250.
That's really cool. That's a cool feature.
But a carburetor has so much more soul and character. It's just this thing that you can work on. I have so much pride in the fact that the 250 has a carburetor. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about chopper is, which we can talk about next, is it's a 450. It's going to be based around the 450 platform, but I want to take it back to being a carburetor. We're gonna make the 450 a hardtail again.
We're just gonna take it back.
Yeah, and we're gonna make a carbureted bike again.
Gosh.
So I've been working with Jordan Lake, who helped develop the flat track engine and put everything on it. And I was asking him, what carb would you use? And he said, well, you probably want to use like a 40 millimeter carburetor. He's like, you just want to, like the Harleys use a CVK 40. And I'm like, all of a sudden I started laughing. I'm like, a CVK 40 this is a CVK 40. This is off of a KLR 650.
It feels like a full circle moment for you.
For me, it does. It feels poetic.
Yeah.
So I have several KLR carburetors. Not all of them are in full condition here. CVK just means that it doesn't use it's a different system. It's a constant velocity. It operates a little differently than something like these round slide. But KLR carburetor would be really cool.
A KLR carburetor.
But can you imagine this hanging off the side with a velocity stack coming off of it?
Like canted a little
out,
bit, right?
Yeah.
So okay, we're there. We're kind of there.
Carburetors. There we go.
We're kind of there. Richard, what do you want to talk about as far as your chopper build goes?
Well, I thought that we talk a little bit about. I mean, you know me, a little bit of history.
We gotta.
So let's just start off with the 1920s. Well, teens even. As soon as there were vehicles, people were doing cool things with them, and they were chopping them up and making them work better. So this all, of course, started with racing. This is a Zenith from I think the 1920s, 1925, and that was what they would call a special. They would make it a special. Looks like horizontally mounted Brooklyn's cans on it.
It looks like if you were to hold, like, it would be impossible to hold onto those handlebars.
Those are clip-ons.
They're like angled down.
Yeah, like a lot of board track racers were like that too. A lot of the bikes had them that way in that era. And then you had something called the cut down, and this is a cut down. This is a diagram from a period magazine, Modern Mechanics. That dotted line is the old frame line of a Harley. And what they would do is all these bikes were very high mounted, the exhaust and the engine. And so to get a more low center of gravity, they would chop the top rail off and they would lower the thing down.
Chop, huh?
Chop, yes. And so that what they call these was a cut down. And that was what they were making in the 20s through the 30s. These things called cut downs. And I think I have a couple of pictures. These are cut downs.
Okay.
This is mid 20s, somewhere out in California. Now this is what was probably this is like a 1930s, late 30s Harley. This is what we would call a bob job. And so a bob job is where they would turn it to look like a hill climber or a race bike. And so a lot of the American racing at this period was more I have a TT in England. A tourist trophy is on road racing. TTs in America have always been on dirt. So they would cut the fenders. That you see the front fender's been shortened considerably. The rear fender's been shortened. Sometimes they would put like a European style front fender on, which meant narrower, not like a Harley fender. And everything would be cut down and made lighter and lower. That's a bob job. This is a original bob job from the 30s. Look at that thing.
That's pretty sharp.
It's beautiful. The shortened fenders. Here's another one. Look at this guy. Look at that carrot. Look at his jeans and his boots.
That
guy's
kind of stunned.
Mm-hmm. That little tiny fender.
Uh-huh.
This next picture is really famous. This is probably like what you might call I don't know what you'd call this bike. This is Von Dutch. So this is the man who invented like so much of what we know about chopper culture, tattoos, pinstriping. his father was a sign painter, and he kind of created a lot of the, I guess what would turn into the hot rod culture of Southern California. But he did some wacky. This is like a leaf spring front end with handlebars canted forward, bobbed rear fender, fishtail exhausts.
He's like, how weird can I make it?
Yeah. And so then basically you get after the bob jobs, then come bobbers, which are like post World War II, people cutting up bikes, making them, and they were getting more style oriented at that point.
Yeah.
And then after probably the into the 50s, getting into the 60s and 70s, you have the modern chopper, which is really known for its long, extended forks, which originally I think were made of like Ford control arms. They would turn those
Model A.
Yeah, I'm not sure which ones exactly were. I don't know enough about cars.
Well, I cheated and I watched a video by Bert today.
Okay,
so
great.
I'm a little.
Good for you. You did some homework.
I'm a little informed.
Nice.
For once, I'm a little informed today.
Good. They're Model A. So they're basically, that gives you those long struts that you can make a front fork out of. And then the chopper just gets crazy. Different kinds of choppers from different parts of the country. The history of the movie Easy Rider really popularized the chopper. And in recent years, Paul d'Orléans, the vintage ant, has uncovered the history of the how much Black culture influenced choppers. The guys who built the Captain America bike, for Black guys that are from this California scene. So kind of unknown part of that culture.
Yeah.
These we got a couple of pictures. These are all pictures that I took. I believe most of these are, at least. This is a wacky one.
That's cool.
That was down from Rider Rot last year. Wacky.
I feel like
Japanese engine.
How do you even reach the handlebars?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is from Sturgis. I thought this was an extremely elegant bike. I believe these fenders are from our good friend Joe Cooper, who taught us how to make fenders.
He doesn't have a front fender.
Most choppers don't.
Most don't. Okay. Whoa.
You know what I forgot to put in the slideshow is the rendering of
what
I want mine to look like.
Do you have that drawing somewhere?
Yeah.
We can just put it on the table and then.
Yeah, we can do that. It's out there on the chopper stand.
Okay.
Then you got these I forget what these are called.
I'll go grab it.
Yeah, go ahead. They're like lowriders of choppers. They're dropped. They're probably on like airbags or something like that. This is a motorcycle store out in Sturgis. You can see the little blue Halcyon behind it. Where is this one? Oh, this. Somebody was talking about American choppers, Paul Tuttle, and this is down in Florida at his OCC Roadhouse. So I got to meet Paul this last fall, and got to see this is so basically to kind of finish out the history. Choppers in the 90s kind of went up like late 80s. 80s they were big. 70s and 80s. By the 90s they weren't really as much of a thing anymore. They kind of were bigger and more outlandish. But when I was talking to Paul Tuttle, the way he sees it is he sees himself bringing choppers back. It was around 1999, 2000 that show got really popular.
Yeah, well, I feel like around that time as well was when the speed wars were happening between the big four, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're just trying to make bikes go as fast as
came out in 1999.
Humanly possible.
Yep.
So I feel like that makes sense that the fall off of the chopper versus
performance.
Performance.
I think that makes sense. One of the things you would say about a chopper is it's designed to be customized, but it's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily. I don't think anyone would claim that a chopper handles any better than like a stock bike.
It would be crazy if
they
did.
They don't.
Right.
They're harder to ride. They're probably most of them are far more uncomfortable. They're hardtails,
but
they don't start well because they're all like antiquated.
But they look so freaking cool.
Yeah. There's they're a statement. Especially, and 100%. I think a lot of people, it's like a statement of their personality.
Yeah.
And there's a set of rules that you work within, which is really interesting because these people are, defying convention. Typically, you see a guy on a chopper. It's like some kind of it was at least it was seized upon by like outlaw
Right.
biker culture.
Right. But
It didn't start that way.
but they followed within. I mean, even then they follow
Then
within
there's
these
still a set of rules.
these
that everybody-
constraints.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
It's interesting.
Really neat.
It's
So anyway, this is an example of a 2000s era Orange County choppers. Like I don't know what this one's theme is. It's like Desert Storm or
Is that-
something.
are
It's got like
those
an AR-15 on
rivets?
the side. Yeah, it's got like rivets that are painted on and a machine gun. This one's a fire engine. So the exhaust pipe is a hose.
Holy cow, that's pretty cool.
I mean,
That's crazy.
it's these themes. What Paul d'Orléans, the vintage, calls them grotesque motorcycles, and I
That
think
is
he means it in the
grotesque.
sense of like true grotesque, like
Uh-huh.
just wild.
Whoa.
The spider one.
Where is the?
I don't know where
gas
I don't know where the
tank?
field. He probably has like a little tiny like bottle or something.
It can just enough to get it
Gets
into
you to the next bar.
Yeah, exactly.
This one is really. I kind of we need to talk about this one.
Okay.
This is a reindeer. This is like Santa Claus's chopper.
Are those skis at the bottom of that?
Yes.
That's awesome. Snowflakes.
Unbelievable. There I am with Paul. He's on a 450. He's
What-
really cool.
What did he say? Did he ride the 450 at all?
Yeah,
or-
he wrote it all.
What did he
loved
say?
it. No, I mean, he's just like pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like I was like ready to start like yelling, like throwing stuff. I did not bring a sleeveless shirt, but I should have.
You should have cut your beard into a handlebar mustache.
I should have.
I should have done that for
But anyway,
tonight.
since we're talking choppers, I thought I'd show that picture up
You
there.
feel like you have to.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't. This is very uninformed, so take it or leave it. But I feel like he has carried the torch a little bit,
Mhm.
or a lot of it for chopper.
I'm not necessarily
culture,
like
right?
a fan of that kind of bike,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's so many people on the Janus Motorcycles team that grew up watching that and that are like that still watch that show because they enjoy motorcycles and making things, but also like just the ridiculousness of it. I mean,
It's
you
a
have to also think
reality.
it was like one of the first reality TV shows.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Which is really interesting. The meme of him like yelling at his son is like I think it's like the most memed meme ever.
It's so relatable, honestly. No, I think everything's a little doctored up, for reality TV. But no, I think he kind of him and his team carried like the customizable motorcycle scene for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most.
You have people like Jesse James, who I think like to me the reason I like his stuff is that, well, first of all, he's not Paul and everybody, they made really unique motorcycles, but Jesse James makes some he does some incredible stuff.
Crazy cool
And
stuff.
he is very interested in the history. He's talked a lot about the history of choppers and motorcycles in general. So I feel like I would also get along with him.
Get along well.
So then you get then it just, you can't stop, right? Like you can't stop. So they just get wilder. And I don't even know what this is like
The bagger.
Shrek on acid, I think is what this one, I don't know what the
That's-
actual title. Look, there's Shrek on the side of it.
Holy cow.
I mean, I have lots of pictures of this bike just because it's so ridiculous. This one, I don't know. This guy from Japan came all the way to Sturgis with this bike, which is like what? 15 feet long. That bike is huge.
It's a boat.
And it has like 40 speakers on it.
Wow.
So when he turns the bass on, it's amazing. But it's like Rococo Baroque wildness. I don't even understand how you describe
Interesting.
what that. I mean, look at the wheel.
Yeah.
Where do you get a wheel like that? How do you even do that?
It all has to be 1000% custom, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
it's
wonder.
all is it made of like fiberglass?
I was
What
about to
is
say, I
it?
wonder if that wheel is just fiber. Like
Yeah, I
it's
don't know.
just a cover.
It has, and the tire, the tires. Look at that. Go back to that last bike. Look at the front tire. Like, what is that?
It's a rubber band, I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah.
You just go buy one at Staples.
Anyway, that's a whole thing. So that's kind of that's the history. And then we have, what if Janus made a chopper? So I originally started thinking about. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was supposed to say. I was just gonna reiterate. Like, what if Janus makes a chopper?
What if
but
Janus makes a chopper?
with like the Janus ethos, which I feel like is intertwined super, super well with what little I know about chopper culture, right? To be very resourceful, to make it your own, to be able to work on it. Like all these things kind of align.
They do, but it's always really hard for us because we bridge this gap. A lot of people think that we're a custom motorcycle shop. And I have to constantly remind even the team. I wrote a whole email or like message to the team explaining that we are not a custom motorcycle shop. We are a production, I like to say OEM, original equipment manufacturer
Yes.
that produces production motorcycles. Each component is always the same, except we offer a high level of personalization for the customer. What I've always said is motorcycles customize themselves. So when you buy that bike, maybe it falls over. Maybe it doesn't. Hope it doesn't. But maybe it. There are things that it can just, the wear that the motorcycle takes on. That's more customization than anything that we do to the bike. Yeah. Because customization it's the essence of customization is you're taking it from stock to something else yourself. Now, during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, many manufacturers tried to make like custom motorcycle. Like Harley made the Lowrider, which is like trying to look like a chopper. And even like Norton made like versions of the Commando that had like high bars, and they're just like really bad. It's probably really bad. So like to me that's just totally missing the point. And so if you're going to make a chopper, I'm not going to make it for you.
Right.
Now you can commission an artist to make you a chopper. That's a different thing. But again, they are taking a production thing and they are customizing it, which you can't do custom twice. It's a one-off. It has to be.
I think there's something to, if you want something custom, I think there's a lot, and I'm not saying you have to, but I think there's a lot more to be gained if you do it yourself. You know, like if you take charge and say, I'm going to go through this process myself.
Jason 412 says my 1960 panhead is raked and bobbed out. Foot clutch, jockey shift. Looks cool, terrible to ride. Halcyon 450 number 307 gets the same attention and much more comfortable to ride.
Hey.
Well, I'm not saying that a Janus doesn't get as much attention as a custom. We will show up at a show and win awards.
Now, what happens if you take a attractive motorcycle that gets a lot of attention already without any customizations?
And then you do something wild to it?
And you do something crazy to it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to sound like a pretty conceited, but I think we've really got the Halcyon pretty nailed. Like,
yeah, that's
what
true.
What are you going to do? You're going to like make it better?
You can make it different.
You're going to make it better? No, like, so yeah, it is a challenge to take something that you've spent 10 years working on 14 years working on the design in the case of the Halcyon, and to like, what if I was going to throw all that out the window or reimagine it, what would it be like? So that's what this project is.
Should we show the?
You want to show the?
Yeah, I don't know.
This may not be very close to what it actually is, but so this is a rough sketch of a Halcyon 450 chopper. Now it's maybe more of like a chopper / bobber. I'm going to be kind of combining some genres, I think, but the basic idea is a classic traditional chopper. Maybe a little bit more on the understated kind of Janus side of things.
I don't
more
know.
Sleek and svelte.
You were talking about also a jockey shifter.
Oh yeah, well,
foot clutch.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That feels that doesn't.
Yeah, we will be. So the goal is going to be that we want to make it very long. So I picked this picture first because this is kind of an inspirational one. It's not going to look like this, but long and low, and very, very, very narrow. For that image. Look at that. Super elegant. So this is more on the elegant side of things. Let's keep going through these pictures here.
This is inspiration for
for this bike, which
great.
Incidentally also needs a name.
Shocker.
We're going to be working on it.
What about Chapas?
Keep going. So this is like definitely more in the kind of bobber land. Oh, I love this one.
That looks. I really like that one.
So right now we're working through like what tank do we want to use? Like I really want to use a Janus tank.
Well, maybe we'll save that for the video.
Yeah, we can save that for the video. But like, do we go with like a moped tank because it's like poetic? That I started this whole thing with mopeds, or do we go with like a Griffin tank because it's shorter? Do we go with a Halcyon tank? Oh, look at that one. Very elegant.
Gosh,
I like these lightweight
I
ones. They're
like
just
that
so
one.
sleek and
Yeah.
svelte. Like it's taking the Halcyon thing and going even further.
Right.
Like you're
right.
removing even more stuff.
As much as possible.
Yep. Just like those early cut downs. Look at that.
Look at that sissy bar all the way back there.
I love that one. And those handlebars.
Those are
kind of got me thinking
goofy.
Like one piece of tube that just goes all the way up. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And look at that one. How narrow it is. So the narrowness really interests me. But anyway, I think we got pretty close to the end. This is a real infield build that they just came out with, which is also, they really did a good job. Like jockey shift. And then finally, I've shown you this picture before. If you're a Ramble streamer, you'll recognize this. This is the Falcon Bullet. Yes, Bullet, which is basically kind of what I'm trying to do. It's a bobber chopper, long, low, and narrow. And this spike is the inspiration for the Halcyon.
There you go.
So it kind of all comes full circle. This is a custom from like 2005 or 6 or 7, I can't remember, mid 2000s, that heavily influenced the Halcyon 50 when we first designed it.
Cool.
And so I think it's just kind of poetic that it comes back to that bike.
Another
you can
full
see
circle.
I mean, even the pinstripe like basic ideas we kind of got from this bike. So there it is.
That's very
Real
cool.
Beauty. But look at how narrow it is. So
yeah, that's so narrow.
These are the same tires that I'm running to. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we got to. Can I see it?
Oh, go to. Here you go.
Massive.
There it is.
21-inch.
It's huge.
Front wheel with a beautiful Avon Speedmaster Mark II ribbed front tire. Look how narrow that is.
Which you're gonna
barely even fits on the rim. It's like Brent's like, this rim is designed for thicker tires. I was like, yeah, it's okay. I know.
It's so big. It's crazy. What does Mark got to say here? Oh, come on. The Japanese and Taiwanese have been making chopper style bikes for years. Just use a Halcyon 250 as the base. It already has the hardtail frame.
That's a good call. I like it.
You can do that, but there's something about taking the 450 and changing it from fuel injected to carbureted, from a suspended rear end to a hard. Like there's something about
that's what a lot of people do.
For me, that just
choppers, the hardtail bike. Yeah,
it makes me excited. Like.
Yeah, you can Mark is right about the Japanese and Taiwanese and now it's all over Indonesia. The custom motorcycle scene is huge.
Well, they've got some crazy like subcultures of customization.
Like they're like also like really into like Harleys too, like Japan.
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Neat. Yeah, absolutely. I do think I thought about a 250, but I kind of want a little bit more stance, a little bit longer,
like a bigger front. Like how long?
I mean, it's going to be at least a foot longer than a wheelbase wise than a stock bike.
It's going to be so freaking cool
and long, and it'll be like narrow too.
Yeah.
And so we're instead of using 450, everything we're going to try and narrow. So we don't need to be as wide on any we want the tank to be narrower, the seat to be narrower, the rear end will be tightened up. We don't need we're not even running a front brake. So we can.
Who needs it?
So that for the front, we're running a 250 width fork, but it's going to be leading link.
That's
cool. It's going to be raked.
That's going to be crazy.
So 250 width fork on a 450. So it'll really be narrow.
Yeah.
So the handlebars have to be narrow too.
That's going to be so cool.
But yeah, I mean, really beyond what the bike looks like, I think that the whole exercise is going to be a fun one to show what the difference is between a custom motorcycle and a production motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be making a bike that shows a lot of people what they can do with the Janus.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be entering it. My goal is to enter it in the show circuit next year. So starting, I hope spring 26, we'll go to, the easy ones Mama Tried. And then either hand built or the one show would be really cool. I'm not sure I can afford to go to both. But then the one that we were hanging out with David Cheng from Cafe Racer's Instagram this weekend. And he's like, you should go to Born Free.
Where's that one at?
Born Free is in Southern California, and it's like it's like the chopper show.
That would be so cool.
it's like American. It's like 95%
chopper.
Harley
Yeah,
Davidson.
yeah.
And so I think it would be really neat
That would be.
to take a Janus chopper. The question now is, you can have really cool designs. You can make, and I'm not going to have like a lot of like the level of detail I think that maybe some builders go to, like machining, hand machine, like this bike right here. The last image that we showed you all of the Falcon. I mean, he hand carved parts of the engine cases and incredible, hours, thousands of hours. I don't have thousands of hours, but we have a really good canvas to work with.
Yeah.
And what do you do to make it pop? So like, what color does it need to be?
What are you leaning toward?
I'm leaning toward like
cream.
No, not cream. I mean, I'm leaning toward actually a super chrome chassis.
Ooh.
So that's like, it doesn't look like chrome, but it looks like really shiny.
Right.
I think that'd be really neat. Although you can see like just black looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just thinking last night. I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, what if I did like gold leaf?
Gold leaf would be crazy. I feel like it would be too much in some places though.
No, you have to
right.
just
have like
tastefully.
Nice little accent here, there, or like
the tanker leaf would be gold leaf.
Just make it the bling bike.
We've done that before. The last bike we took to Handbuilt show, we kind of
blinged it out.
But it was a Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that'd be super cool. I'm super excited to see how it all turns out. We're gonna be trying to document.
We've already got quite a bit in the can.
Yeah, kind of document the whole process from the ideation all the way to completion. So
and like me like throwing chairs in the middle of it, and, like yelling at Jeff. I mean, and the other thing I got to say is that we have a chopper builder here at the shop, Mr. Jeff Blind, who does all of our frame chassis fabrication. This is not his first rodeo, and I'm going to be leaning heavily on not only his skills with metalworking, but also just his understanding of chopper,
like the culture,
and everything. He's already schooling us all, so I'm looking forward to working with him on it. We'll feature a lot more of him. He's quite well spoken too.
Yeah, we should.
Were you just like?
I should.
Flipping your hat bill up.
We should start doing one of these. Huh?
Like Jeff.
Just like Jeff. We should.
He looks like he rides a chopper.
He screams it. Yes. We should have him on to talk about.
We will. We should do it. Oh, on the Ramblestream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, if you're watching, he usually watches a little after.
Jeff, we're talking to you, buddy.
Jeff Blind. We're gonna have you on the Ramblestream, and you can talk choppers.
That'd be fun.
We won't do it every week. This is not going to become like.
It's not gonna be the chopper stream.
Chopper stream. This is the Ramblestream, but
I think it's a nice thing to keep.
It'll mix things up a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it'll be good. It's exciting too. I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys can sense that through the camera here. But it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to see just what brainchild is chilling in y'all's heads.
And then, I mean, every owners rally, people show up and they've got their motorcycles are customized. Tad Morris was here at the DGR this weekend, and heavily modified bike.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be carrying on what you all already do.
Jude asks, what are the odds that you'll sell something like this in the future?
0.
Big fat 0.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, it wouldn't be a custom if we made it for you.
Yeah. It would be. Yeah, I think
maybe some of the design influences can influence what we do with our production bikes.
I see this as R&D almost.
Yeah,
a little bit. Not for the intention of like releasing a chopper by any means, but just to see what the limits are in a way.
And we can also like just test out like random crazy fabrication techniques or
Yeah.
new processes that we wouldn't be able to get away with in production.
Right.
So,
Old School says he prefers a bobber. Well, just so happens
I like bobbers too.
that Jeff is building a bobber.
Is building a bobber.
So we've got a few custom builds going on right now in the shop. It's been really cool to see him kind of lingering around.
We got Jeff. We got Jonah. I mean,
Mitch has one.
Mitch is like what would you call that? A brat scrambler?
Yeah, it's like I don't even know. It's cool either way.
Scramble brat.
Scrat. I kind of like Scrat.
Sprat. And then you got Brent, who just like custom painted his. He's gonna be making some crazy fenders for it, I think.
Oh, cool.
So,
Cool.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff going on. It is now 7:59. So
is there anything?
20 seconds.
Is there anything going on in the Janus world that people need to be updated on? No.
I mean, there's probably something, but
Griffin 450.
Griffin
number
450
3
2 is coming out. 3 is coming on soon. We are accelerating. So thank you all for your patience.
Yep. We're excited to see those Griffin 450s come off the line. I'm excited to see them. But that's all for the Ramble stream.
Next Monday is Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
So we might not have a ramble. I might be not here.
TBD. Richard's going to bail on me. I was planning full send to just be here, work through Memorial Day, for the people.
I'm going to go ahead and say next week we will not have a ramble stream, but we'll be back the week after that.
Yes. For number 83.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.